It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game on this Friday. We made it. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. I even see the reporter, Nick Keyser, behind the glass as well. What's up, JoJo?
Did you stay up and listen to the Preds game, their win last night?
I actually stayed up and watched it last night on the old FanDuel Sports Network. Predators have made it 5 wins in a row. San Jose gave them a little bit of a fight last night, but 6-5, the Preds get the win. Philip Forsberg had a 2-goal night. They even had to kill off a 5-minute major penalty, which I don't really know if that was a penalty. Keyser, was that a major? He says no. I agree. Cole Smith was ejected from the game. They said it was an illegal hit to the head. I don't think so. I think it was one of those. It should have been a penalty, but it was one of those. They penalized the result and not the play, and the result was the player was hurt. But they didn't penalize the play itself. I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder. It was not a hit to the head. But
I was in my 4th stage of REM sleep, about 10, so I'm
good.
Glad I got the update this morning too.
I'm glad that you got some good beauty rest. You look great today.
Go to the gym. Do we go to the gym this morning, everybody?
No.
I hope we did.
Kettlebell, baby.
45 minutes in and out of the gym. No excuses. So that's how you get your weekend started. But no, I'm glad the Preds won 5 in a row. Now I look 10 points roughly out of the playoff spot, which is, one of the things I hate in sports. If the playoffs started today,
yep,
blah, blah. I'm glad they don't, because it's January 24th.
Yeah, that's true. That would be
that'd be something, right?
Very nice indeed. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along today. We got a special guest at 10 o'clock.
We do. Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello will join us.
V?
Yeah, was going to be here. He's the big event for Sunday night for Lawson High School. He's speaking. They've got a great MC too, who I'm told not only is handsome, but smells good. And
did you waive your autograph fee this time?
I did.
Okay,
so we're looking forward to that. So Tony will join us. Tony, like I know him. Coach Vitello.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Will join us at 10 o'clock today on
How's
the show.
the family?
Yeah, how are things going? Looking forward to that.
That'll be cool. And then a cool event with MTSU that we'll tell you about at 10:30. We're just at 9:30, our Preds guest. We're just telling you about a lot of neat initiatives and cool things going on in the community, because that's what we do.
Because it is the People Show.
It is the People Show, and we are hyper local.
We are hyper local today, so a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Good times. I bet you are.
It's going to be good. I guess the aftermath continues of the Mike Berganzi hiring. He was on our midday show DVD yesterday, D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, and I thought it was a good interview. I mean, it was funny. I came in and, I'm always curious of what Derek thinks after things like that. And I came in and asked him, about it. And he kind of laughed. He goes, he didn't really say a whole lot. And if you listen to the interview, the late, great Floyd Reese would be very happy, because he was the master at the art of talking for 2 minutes and not saying one damn thing.
Right.
and I think that's a good GM thing to do.
Yeah, it's still not clear who's calling the shots, so I'm gonna leave it at that, because I feel like it gets beaten over and over and over.
I think he's calling a little bit more than maybe we think he is.
Then tell us.
Well, they're not going to.
Then say it. And then,
I'm coming to terms with the fact that they're just not going to tell us stuff.
That's fine.
And we have to be okay with that. Amy's going to be non-existent unless things are going good, and they're not going to tell us the plan. And that it is what it is. We just have to accept that.
In the words of the great Lindell White, man, it is what it is.
Sure. Yeah. There we go.
Damn it, Bobby, this just ain't right.
Man. This was the one. There were a few things that kind of stood out to me. And they brought up the quarterback, because that is going to be what everybody's going to be looking at. The most important position on the football team. This was their question. I believe Adam asked this question on the quarterback market. If there isn't a solution at number one per se.
Let's talk about that quarterback position for a minute. As you evaluate the quarterback market this offseason, be it the draft, be it free agency, or via trade, if you find that there is no franchise changing quarterback, someone that you can build around, what do you do?
Then you have to bridge the gap. I think these discussions, I'm just diving into it right now. I wasn't watching the top quarterbacks during the season. We had one, obviously, in Kansas City with Patrick. So I'm diving in the process right now with an open mind. I'm getting with Coach Callahan, his staff, our personnel staff. And we're gonna look through free agency. We're gonna look through the draft. However trades, whatever we have to do to solidify that position. But we're pretty early on in the process right now.
All right. So did you buy I haven't really looked at the top quarterbacks because I didn't buy that because I feel like that's something you would do knowing that you were going to interview for some of these jobs.
I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe. I mean, he got the job last week.
Right. But
He
he
said
knew
he
he
has
was going to interview for it.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows the quarterbacks, but that's not been a priority in Kansas City since 2018. I mean, that's not a priority for them to scout, to have that top of their board. So, yeah, I kind of think it that way. You look for pieces to surround him they're not taking a quarterback in the first round, the Chiefs are, for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of believe that.
All right. So he
Seems
said
genuine.
he uses the phrase bridge the gap. That if basically what he's saying, and the question was, if you don't take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick, and you decide, because he said he said in the press conference, like, if there's a generational talent there, I'm not going to pass on a generational talent. So let's say they decide to either trade back or they go Travis Hunter or whatever, and they don't take the quarterback. Bridge the gap means, to me, you're going to go find a veteran that is going to be your bridge quarterback.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Like, he pretty much kind of laid that out.
Yeah.
Of what they were going to do. The question will be, who is that?
Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr. I mean, there's the usual suspects that are still always out there, and Sam Darnold, and on and on and on. So I don't know. I mean, we will have to. I don't know who's available right now, and then who pops out at him. But they hold gold, that number 1 pick. They hold gold right now. It's embarrassing because you're number 1, but at the same time, you hold that goal with that. So many different ways to go. So I don't know.
Did you hear who Jared Stillman said yesterday?
I did not.
Sam Darnold. He basically has talked to somebody and thinks that you could trade the 2nd round pick, the 35th overall pick this year, to Minnesota for Sam Darnold. And that would be your bridge quarterback. Now, or actually he'd be your quarterback. Like, you'd sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal. That's your guy. Now you're essentially going Ryan Tannehill 2.0, kind of doing the same thing. But if you're using your draft assets to build with a receiver / corner, whatever you think Travis Hunter is, obviously you're addressing the offensive line. I do think you need to go sign Trey Smith. You do those things, and you have a veteran guy that, I know he kind of choked in the playoffs, but he did choke in the playoffs. But you're
right.
You're not in Super Bowl mode right now.
No.
Anybody that thinks you are next year, I want what you're smoking.
But don't pay $40 million for this guy.
No, well, I mean, you're going to sign him. You're going to sign him to. No, you're not going to pay $40 million a year, but you're going to sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal. Like, he's going to be your guy.
So,
you're going to build around him.
Do we get the Jets Sam Darnold, or do we get half the Panthers Sam Darnold, or do we get the good Sam Darnold when he had the best receiver in the NFL, or do we get the Sam Darnold who was awful versus the Lions? Awful versus the Rams when the heat was on.
Well, I hope
pass.
I hope you get the good Sam Darnold.
Pass. I mean, he's
okay.
Just
so
pass.
All right, fine. I'm okay with that. Tell me who else. Tell me who you're going to go get.
I'd love to have Derek Carr. I think he comes at a lower price. I think he's an adequate quarterback. He's an experienced quarterback. Yeah, it didn't work in New Orleans. I mean, there were good and bad games, but I'd take Derek Carr over Sam Darnold every day and twice on Sunday.
Interesting.
Just would. You're going to get him for a far. I mean,
didn't Callahan work with him too? I think
they did.
I think they do have.
He did.
I think
sure as heck did with the Raiders.
Yeah. Look, I don't hate Derek Carr, but that is
why should you hate him?
That is the definition of a bridge quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
It hurts me when you talk about hate.
I said I don't hate him.
Okay. Good.
But that you could address other things this year, especially like, Dr. Crane and I were talking about this yesterday. If you trade back to 3 with the Giants, because let's say the Giants fall in love with Ward or Sanders, you trade back to 3, you get their first next year. Odds are they're probably going to have a top 5 pick next year. Then you go
Right.
get your quarterback.
Then you trade Simmons to the Patriots for their number 1.
Could you imagine they have 3 and 4 this year and then have
That'd be great. That would be so great.
He's
The
not
Texans-
far off.
No, he's
I
not.
feel like Mike Vrabel would do something like that where he would overpay for a Jeffrey
So
Simmons.
so in this what if scenario, you have 3 and 4. Do you get Hunter and Carter? Is that the ideal scenario?
No. Hunter's no. All right, so you get Derek Carr. He's your quarterback, okay? You trade for Simmons is gone. You get the third for the Giants. You get 3 and 4. So you figure the Giants could take Shador, right? Gone. Or
I
whoever.
think they
Cam.
take Cam Ward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Cleveland's going to take a quarterback.
Then your 2 quarterbacks are gone.
So you're going to get Travis Hunter probably at 3 and then Abdul Carter at 4.
I think Abdul Carter's too small. That's me. I think they figure him out quickly.
Well, and okay, let's continue this what if, because I want to push back a little bit on something.
What if is the greatest game in the world?
We love the what if game. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're up and running here on a Friday. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Friday. We're going to give you some song requests here in a minute there, Dr. Crane. Keep everybody in a good mood on this Friday. Are you in a good mood? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been up since about 3:30 and
Did you get a little workout in?
did kettlebell workout, figure eights.
Did you cook on the Blackstone?
No, I don't cook breakfast during the week, but
okay.
but yeah, I like getting
Tomorrow?
maybe potentially
Yeah.
How
You
much
should.
kettlebell weight did we do today?
35 pounds.
Attaboy.
So I do the figure eights, the new thing I've been working on, where you can just go between your legs like you're dribbling a basketball,
Right.
and then sometimes I'll start doing the kettlebell snatches, and then
Nice.
do like
Oh,
just
no.
regular squats with the kettlebell. So
How long workout we looking at here?
it's about 25-30 minutes, but it gets the heart rate up, so which is
I
good.
love it, man.
So-
Good for you. Go to the gym.
Yep.
Attaboy.
I just do it from the house, but yeah.
Okay.
Then diamond push-ups.
I know you do it from
Can't
the
forget
house.
that.
Diamond push-ups?
Yep.
What about gold push-ups?
Never heard of those.
Me neither. Just
Chasing Big Joe on this Friday. You can weigh in on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com 615-737-1025. So Derek Carr is your solution at quarterback, but
Yeah.
we brought up Abdul Carter, and I don't, as much as Mike Vrabel loves Jeffrey Simmons, he might be willing to trade for that. I don't think Jeffrey Simmons is worth the 4th overall pick. You would hope that they think he is, and you fleece them, but I think realistically he's not worth that. But I think if the Patriots are picking it 4th, Abdul Carter is the slam dunk pick for Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to fall in love with him.
sure is.
He probably already has. So I think Vrabel, it's a foregone conclusion that if he's there at 4, Carter's going to New England. That's what I think.
All right.
And look, I kind of share your I think he's a good player, but he is small.
Yes.
And I wonder if he's too small for the NFL.
And then when you go against Laramie Tunsil, who could touch you from here, what are you going to do then?
Right.
I mean, I was reading all these things like, a lot of college guys are short arm guys. NFL guys at left and right tackle have long arms. I mean, my God, Taylor Lewan had a long arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you got to figure out how to get around that. And you're
Right.
a small guy. I don't think he's great in college. That's fine. But I just don't think he's worth the 4th pick.
John from the Borough says you take Carter and the best tackle, then trade up and draft the best available wide receiver. Sign Carr, and you have filled several holes there.
There's a lot of options for this
I
football
would sign
team
Troy
going
Smith
forward.
too.
There's a lot of options going forward for this football team if they're smart about it. And evidently, they've got smart guys now in running the team.
If I tell you that I talked to Doc and I jumped in the DeLorean and I went to the draft and I came back and I said the Titans draft is they took Abdul Carter, they made some trades or traded back. They ended up with Abdul Carter. They did get their tackle that can play right or left.
Okay.
They got a receiver, let's say Golden from Texas. They got him, and Derek Carr has been signed as the quarterback. Trey Smith has been signed as the right guard. Would you be happy?
Yeah, I would.
I'd be happy.
I would. All right. So the announcement today that Jacksonville's hired Liam Cohen, who is Will
That
Levis.
is crazy.
Will Levis's best friend.
Yep.
And I heard, that'll never happen. I'd love this. You trade for Trevor Lawrence. Okay. People are like, he's got talent. He's just in a bad system. Now you get him with a good quarterback coach, allegedly Callahan. But here's the deal. You swap 1 and 5. You give me Trevor Lawrence. I send you Will Levis. But if I'm the Titans, you give me Josh Allen. Then I'm doing that. You give
He
me
changed his name.
well, Josh Allen Smith, whatever it is.
I'm
taking him.
I don't want Trevor Lawrence.
He's
I
better
just-
than who's out there.
I mean, he's better than what you got. I know, but I don't.
He's been in a bad
he has
bad
look,
system.
He has, and he's had what now 3 offensive coordinators and
He had Urban
years.
Meyer his rookie year.
yeah,
Awful.
and then Doug Peterson. I mean,
The
Doug
22,
Peterson.
they went to the playoffs and they did well.
Yeah,
Then they got injured and things happened. It was just a bad year in 23 and he got injured in 24. I'm telling you.
I think what we're learning with the Jaguars is Trent Baalke was the problem. I mean, Doug Peterson. You watch some of his press conferences, especially towards the end of the year. I think that guy was trying to get fired.
Yeah, right.
Like he wanted out, and then this whole thing with Liam Cohen. they miss on Ben Johnson because he didn't like the setup. It comes out that the setup met Trent Baalke. They zero in on Liam Cohen. Charles Robinson said yesterday on Robbie and Rexrow that Liam Cohen was actually their first choice. Liam Cohen decides, I don't like this. I'm going to stay in Tampa. And then Shad Khan's finally like, okay, the GM's the problem. He mutually agrees to part ways with the GM. He fires the GM. And then all of a sudden, Liam Cohen's like, hey, all right, I'll come there.
Okay.
I'm back in it.
Well, we're going to give you your best friend, Will Levis. Here we go. We're going to swap picks, but you're going to give us Josh Allen in return. Then you got your edge rusher. Problem solved.
Can I tell you a call I would make if I was Shad Khan and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah.
And I'll give him his number if he wants him. I would call John Robinson. Bring John, whatever the title, you can say GM, whatever. I would bring John in. Give John another chance. He knows the division. Let him come in and be your personnel guy.
All right. Well, now John,
I don't think they're going to do that, but
the Jets don't have a GM, right? But they already hired their head coach.
No, they just hired a GM.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Who'd they hire?
They hired he was who did they just hire?
Because the ownership,
well, maybe they didn't.
I don't think they
I
have.
thought they did.
The ownership hired Aaron Glenn.
Right.
And the joke was now a GM comes in with a head coach he didn't hire, and they're hired basically the same time.
I thought they hired somebody.
No, yeah.
Guess
so
not. I like Aaron Glenn. I don't think that's a bad hire. As long as Woody stays out of the way.
But Woody?
Did Trump make him an ambassador again?
I thought that was the plan.
Because that would get him out of the way.
To Ireland or Scotland or somewhere like that. So
I'm sure there were people in the Jets front office pulling for that.
Yeah, please, Lord, let him go. I don't know. I'm telling you, man. You laugh, but you get quarterback. Now, if you get Jacksonville to agree to some of that money, to swallow some of the money that Trevor Lawrence is getting, it's even better.
Yeah.
See, why not? I mean, just throw everything against the wall.
I see what you're saying.
But give me Josh Allen, whatever his last name is. Give me that guy. He is a terror on the field. And it's in the division. You take it away from them. Remember, we've talked about this. You just got to be better than 3 other teams during 17 games. That's it. Then you get to the playoffs and anything can happen. That's all you got to do. It's not rocket science.
It's not, but we make it rocket science. It's going to be fascinating to go through this entire offseason. And then, we'll know by somewhere between March and May, we'll know who the quarterback for the Titans is. But I am very curious because I really don't, usually I have a read on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It could be one of 10 people. And Ryan Tannehill might have like a 2% chance of being one of those. I don't think so, but people want to try and manifest that.
I'm just not on board the Sam Darnold train.
I'm not. Look, I don't know if I am either. I was kind of throwing that out there because Stillman threw it out there, but I'm okay with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's safe. Won't cost you a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like he's not. He's a bridge quarterback. That's what he is.
Right.
If you don't, and I said this before they let Ran Carthon go. If you are not in love with Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, if you are not in love with either one of those guys, then don't take them.
That's simple.
If you watch the tape,
right?
If you watch the tape and you're like, I'm worried. Like if you watch Cam Ward and you think he's going to take a while. He could be good. He's got some things I like, but we're going to have to develop him. I don't know if I really want to do that. Then don't take him.
No.
Then trade back and see if you can end up with Travis Hunter.
Right.
Because now the morning show did bring up a good point. I think it was it was Teron that said it when he was on with them. Just because he's a generational talent in college doesn't mean he's going to be a generational talent in the NFL. And I think that is something that everybody should pay attention to.
I only started hearing this word with Caleb Williams last year.
Right.
Didn't hear it before.
Right. But I
just didn't hear it.
You've watched football a long time. I'm sure there are examples of guys that you saw in college and you just kind of knew.
Yeah. Which,
like, if Bo Jackson doesn't get hurt, Does he have a Hall of Fame NFL career?
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
He probably goes down as the greatest running back ever, which was a question that I wanted to do during the week and I forgot about it. College players, after 1 year in college, all time, who would have been the biggest NIL guy after 1 year?
Oh.
Not 2 or 3. After 1 year, you saw him in college. Who would have been the
Herschel?
biggest NIL get? Herschel Walker, hands down.
Yeah.
In
Herschel.
1980. Bo was good in
Is
82.
in your mind, if I say Joe Dubin, tell me who the greatest college football player of all time is your answer Herschel?
Hugh Green. I don't do the whole player. I do positions. It's unfair to rank offensive lineman versus that. Hugh Green at Pittsburgh. And people, well, I didn't go to YouTube, people. You can see it. It's all there. Is the greatest, to me, college football player. NIL-wise, Herschel Walker, 1980, would have gotten more money and had more money thrown at anybody that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Peyton's up there after the 94 because you knew what he had. Peyton was pretty up there. But Herschel Walker, 1980, the year he had would have been incredible. Peyton's probably number 2. But you can go on. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer with it. It's a fun game of who you put out there and play.
Sure. Coming up next, we'll have our weekly visit with a member of the Nashville Predators front office. We will do that coming up here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe on this Friday. We're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Predators get the 6-5 win in San Jose last night, as they have now made it 5 in a row, 2 in a row against the Sharks, taking care of business there. And they're back in action tomorrow night, another late one at Anaheim, before they come back to Smashville after this 2-game road trip. Let's say hello now to the great Amy Bratton, who is on the line with us. And we'll tell you a little bit more about what she does. But, I'm excited because maybe you can tell us some Brooks stories, because, we always want to try and have some dirt on Brooks Bratton.
Oh my goodness. Hey, good morning, everybody. No dirt to share. Nothing but good things from my corner for sure. But no, we definitely put the family fun in Smashville. That's for sure. We've made it a family game. But
and we love Brooks.
Good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, and we're
That's
glad
right,
Brooks
me
is
too.
back in Smashville.
We share that.
For sure. All right, Amy,
That's
tell
right.
us what you do with the Nashville Predators.
I am the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It's a privilege for me to fill this role, but we have, in 2020, we established GUIDER, which is an acronym for Growth, Understanding, Inclusion, Diversity, Equality, and Representation. And back in 2020, we wanted to do more than just release statements with the societal injustices that were happening. So GUIDER was established, and I was an employee volunteer, kind of part of it, and then it grew so much to need a full-time role. So for the last almost 2 seasons, I've been helping to oversee GUIDER and playing a piece of the marketing and partnerships role on that team of helping with some of the nights that we celebrate our community and the different community groups that make up our Nashville and Middle Tennessee population. So excited about what's to come for GUIDER and just for the Nashville Predators in general, celebrating the community.
Yeah, and in these, these different theme nights that celebrate the community and everything. I mean, I feel like, it started off, there were a couple of different ones, and now it's almost every game or every other game, it seems like there's something going on. It's really cool that you all are able to have this initiative and put all this out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been fun to see the growth of GUIDER, and that's, the G in GUIDER is growth. So every year we try and do more to celebrate, and it's fun too, right? You get some really unique, great entertainment out of it. We find new artists. This is Music City. We are Music City Hockey. So when you come to a game that has a theme or celebrates the community in some aspect, you're experiencing either something you haven't before or a new aspect of the city that we all know and love. That just helps us to be more united, helps us to create more of a community sense. And I love to be a part of something like that.
We're speaking with Amy Bratton here on the Chasing Big Joe show. Amy, what's it like when you do these theme nights, these music heritage nights, to walk through and just see the celebration, know that something you guys have created has just been a smashing success? Because we've seen it before, and it's just really cool that you guys do this. What's all that like?
I love to take a walk down the concourse on these nights to see kind of an overlap of, nonprofits and local organizations who want to be involved, to see unique talent, to have, for these nights coming up, it's the winter season. So we're going to be packing out the concourses with entertainment in one corner, entertainment in another corner, entertainment in game. It really is powerful to see. And I love that we have an opportunity to invite people in and to showcase representation. We live in a diverse city, and there's so much to celebrate about everyone that lives here and the music and the talents that they have. So walking through the concourse is really special. I encourage everyone to make sure you check the TV monitors to see what's going on around the concourse. Stop by any tables that you see. There's some really great, unique organizations that do great things for other people. We're the volunteer state. We care about other people. So definitely continuing on that kind of Smashville community pillar when you're walking around. But it's just fun. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to showcase representation. And it's definitely something that there's something for everyone on these nights, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, and the one on February the 8th, the Black Music Heritage Night, Nashville's got such a rich Black music heritage. And I want to see this jersey design inspired by street art and hip hop. I want to see this because even reading this just sounds very cool. And that's going to be a fun night, Amy.
It is. It'll be epic. So Eric Namor was the one to design that logo. We've had 4 artist within each of these communities who has worked and been commissioned by our creative services department. So even just the fact that we get to have that collaboration with the community is awesome. But Eric did a really great job for us. He was actually a vendor last year through our partnership with Nashville Black Market, kind of set up his I Can Draw business. And then this year was selected to be the logo artist with our creative services team. So a cool full circle moment there to come be a booth vendor and experience Smashville for the first time as a vendor. And then now be on this side is a really cool story as well. But the logo is awesome. I'm excited to see it, on our players when they're walking in. I'm excited to have fans wear T-shirts, to auction off those jerseys that'll benefit the community. That's something we're continuing on with, and great ways to be involved. You don't have to be present at the game. We'd love for you to be present at the game, you and of course the fans. But
Yes.
If not, you can bid from afar. So that's also another great way to give back and be a part of the night, even if you can't be here.
Hey, I'm riding a 4-game win streak when I go, so Sean Henry's going to make sure I get there.
That's right. Wear the same outfit, whatever you've been wearing. Don't take it off.
I have to assume because Smashville has the unique thing with the band stage, and we have all these different bands that come through. I have to assume on February 8th the music's going to be pretty good.
The music's going to be epic. Yes, from the national anthem to the band stage, and then also we're having a showcase on the concourse as well. So adding that element, our music heritage showcase presented by Nissan. There'll be 4 artists representing 4 genres of Black music and kind of telling that story of Black music through the decades. So really excited about some of those artists. Don Lewis representing country, Rod Magaha representing jazz, Mount Zion Choir representing gospel, and then Daisha McBride representing R&B and hip hop. So just some really great talent that we'll get to feature on the concourse ahead of time. And then we get to the game and the fun music and entertainment that goes along with that.
Well, you mentioned really good people. You need to have the opposite, really bad people. So Chase and I would like to come on stage anytime throughout the rest of the year, Amy. If you could arrange that, we'd really appreciate it.
You know what? We'll consider it. We really do have a wait list going, so we'll have to see.
As long as you'll consider it, we're good. Chase has a boom box with an 8-track in there that he can play behind us. We got it all covered.
My translation on that is we'll circle back after the first of the year.
But what year?
That's great. And you know what? The plaza could be available for you. It might be a little chilly, but put your jacket on, get your boombox out there. Maybe that's your spot.
There we go. Amy Bratton, she's the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion with the Nashville Predators on with us. Amy, thanks so much for doing this today. And please tell Brooks we said hello.
I will do that. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you letting me talk about Guider a little bit and just what we have upcoming. It's great to celebrate Music City and showcase that talent. So we hope everyone comes out to join us, and appreciate the time to get to share a little bit about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great job. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Go Preds.
Go Preds. And again, they try to make it 6 in a row. When I said 4 in a row, I meant me in attendance.
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen 4
All right.
in a row. They got the 5th one last night.
That's
So
right. Damn
I
straight
can
they
count.
did. Yeah, you can do all that. Well done. We got breaking news, huh?
There is some breaking news in the National Football
Woo! This is
League.
big.
You want
Don't
me
do
to say? Okay. We will tell you that coming up next, but another coaching vacancy has been filled. We'll tell you who. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Friday, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. Breaking news out of the National Football League. The Las Vegas Raiders have a new head coach. And I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll has agreed to be the head coach of the Raiders. It's a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. Tom Brady and Mark Davis get their guy in Pete Carroll.
I like it. I mean, look,
Not a bad hire.
not a bad hire at all. Pete knows National Football League. Players like him. You know, him and Russell Wilson kind of started butting heads, but in the end, Russell Wilson butted heads with a lot of people. But for them, look, it puts you on the map. It's a good hire. Allegedly, there was a thing where Brady reached out to Vrabel, and Vrabel said, "Appreciate it, but I'm going to New England eventually."
Well, and he reached out to Belichick too.
Yeah, and Belichick's happy where he is. I mean, $10 million to live in Chapel Hill is not bad, but good for Pete Carroll. I mean, that's not bad. So every position filled now in the National Football League?
Cowboys.
Cowboys. And they're probably going to get Kellen
Brian
Moore.
Brian
Schottenheimer. That's right.
Yeah.
See what I know? I need to pay attention more.
Let's see. Jets is filled. Bears. Saints. The Saints have not been filled.
And that's something that's come up because, like, McCarthy didn't return their call and Aaron Glenn didn't return their call. I mean, it was something that's going on there with I like the Saints. When Ditka took over in 97, I became a big Saints fan. When they wouldn't get rid of Aaron Brooks because he's a terrible quarterback, I kind of jumped ship. And then 3 years later, they win the Super Bowl. But just something about guys not wanting to go there. I don't understand it. Maybe I'm missing something. I know the ownership, the Bensons, they're really not. They're kind of standoffish a little bit. They're not
Right.
I don't know.
So okay, so let's go through this now. The Patriots hired Vrabel. Bears, Ben Johnson. Cowboys still hasn't been filled. Jets, Aaron Glenn. Jags, Liam Cohen. Raiders, Pete Carroll. And then the Saints has not been filled. What's interesting is what basically what you just said. I mean, two of the two remaining jobs, should be considered really, really good jobs, but coaches are staying away. I mean, Dallas is self-explanatory. Like, do you want to deal with Jerry?
Right.
It'd be hilarious if this whole thing just kind of circles back around and he ends up bringing McCarthy back.
It's like Grandpa Simpson walking in, putting his hat on, putting his hat off, and walking back out. I heard something about this morning. Somebody, it might have been the Robbie and Rex Road, so somebody texted in and said, "Why would you want the Jacksonville job?" Let me tell you what. You are a football coach. There's only 32 of these, and you're the head coach of a National Football League team. 99.9999% of coaches will take that job. And if you don't, you're an absolute idiot. You are.
Yeah.
If you don't take the job of a head coach in the National Football League, you are dumb.
One of 32, man.
That's it. I mean, and that's the bottom line is 1 of 32. College is what, 132 in the FBS and on and on. I mean, you want to be you strive to be a head coach. So to say that Liam Cohen, I can't believe he's taking that job, it's asinine, man. You want that job.
What I'm curious too is where do guys like Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce end up? Because I kind of think both of them got a little bit of a raw deal.
Oh, no doubt.
So, I mean, I'd hire those guys.
I mean, Mayo was a good DC, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he'd been there for a while.
But even if you're bringing one in to be a linebackers coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that would be a good move.
Yes.
Look, if he'd do it and Vrabel could get away with it, it'd be hilarious to keep him on the staff, but in New England. But that ain't gonna happen.
You don't want to be that.
It sounded like some of the players didn't like him either.
We called him soft.
Yeah. Truth hurts sometimes.
It does, right? It really does.
But Robert Saleh's going back to San Francisco to be the defensive coordinator. Dennis Allen is going. Where's he going?
To hell if he don't change his ways.
He's going somewhere to be the DC. I forgot where.
Antioch? I don't know.
No.
I mean, how many chances these guys get?
A few.
I believe it's the Bears.
The Bears. He's going with Ben Johnson. Okay. Yeah. I still kind of think McCarthy ends up in New Orleans, especially because it's the only job really. If he wants to be a head coach this year, that's going to
Come
be.
out of the box, man.
I know.
Let's go out of the
Well,
box.
okay, all right. What's an out of the box hire?
I'm gonna do the Borgonzi.
Joe Brady?
Why not?
I'm a little surprised.
Bring him back home.
Yeah,
2019 LSU offensive coordinator.
and then trade for Joe Burrow.
Pay him out the wazoo. We hit this NIL thing before the break, and I'm getting bombarded by all these that are coming through. And Nick Barris texted, said Archie Griffin. Look, it's got to be
NIL.
it's got to be after your first year in college where you're like, all right, this guy's got something that we want to take with us. And I looked up Dan Fouts in 1970. I mean, amazing. Dan Fouts threw for 2,400 yards. This is 1970, 16 touchdowns and 25 interceptions after his freshman. Things like that, guys that you would get after their first year NIL. Well, we talked about Herschel Walker being, if NIL had been around for the last 60, 70 years, Herschel Walker would have broke the bank.
Oh, yeah.
Not even close.
D-May said Billy Sims or Marcus Dupree.
Marcus Dupree is a top. He's in that category at the top.
When you say after their first year, are you saying their freshman year?
Yes.
Or are you saying like if
when
they
we first
redshirted?
saw them.
Okay, so they could be a sophomore or a red shirt or
getting
something.
the opportunity. Like Billy Sims exploded his junior year, went crazy.
Yeah.
His senior year was amazing. Won the Heisman in 79 or 78, 79, 78, one of those 2 years. So things like that. And I just threw it out there. I was like, I would have got that. And then it's kind of taken off with all that. But Marcus Dupree, after his year at Oklahoma, but he came back in 83, fat and out of shape, and Switzer hated him after that. But he was one up there. Like, he's a guy you'd have gone after with NIL when had so much money thrown at him.
Okay, what would you say about and I'm only saying like in Nashville, local.
Okay.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah. To what he did at Vanderbilt after his freshman year in 02.
He was 103 of 212, so almost 50%. 1433, 10 touchdowns, 9 picks. I mean, one great, but one, I mean, for Vanderbilt, that was pretty good. And then it kind of took off.
Yeah, I would have definitely gone after Cutler. Yeah, he'd have made really good money.
Yeah. I mean, his senior year was amazing too. But yeah, Cutler certainly could have been
bad football team.
Yeah.
And he did all that.
Peyton.
Peyton after his year. I mean, the name going in would have gotten already. But what he did in 94, because he didn't start till like third of the way through the season.
You know who I think would have been a big one? And you may laugh at this, but think about at the time, that time frame. I feel like Eric Ainge would have been like a huge NIL guy.
04 was his first year. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't bad. He had to split time with that Brent Frazier guy.
Yeah.
Is that Brent Frazier?
I feel like
Brent Schaefer.
Schaefer. Yeah. I feel like Eric Ainge was a lot better than maybe his career showed.
Yeah.
Because he was on some not great teams.
04, he had a
teams.
decent year. I mean, he would have been an NIL guy. You
Yeah.
would have gone after him.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Yeah. I mean, that's only, God, it's 04 too.
Trying to
Crazy.
think of some other like SEC guys that just kind of stand. I mean, Jamarcus Russell probably would have been one.
Yeah. I mean, it was good.
He was great at LSU.
To get to where he was going. But if you went back, like,
Vince Young.
Tyler Bray in 2010, his year was really good.
Especially with Kiffin.
Yeah. And then he was actually there under Dooley.
But Kiffin recruited him.
Yes. So and that's the thing, is that you look for guys like that would have really set the record for NIL, would have gone after him. And, I mean, Carson Beck's getting $4 million from the Hurricanes. He's making more than like 15 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. So you think about how that would have been back then. I mean, not the money wouldn't have been equal, obviously, but you still would have gone after these guys, and the opportunity to transfer would have been amazing. I mean, Peyton would have been amazing. Somebody would have gone after him. Tennessee would have to match it. Who knows what would have happened? The career trajectories for these guys would have been altered so much had the NIL been around back then.
Yeah. I mean, and there probably were some answers in baseball too. Kind of a segue into where we're going next.
It is.
If you want to.
Yeah. Coming up next, Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello is going to join us. Is it Vitello or Vitello? Vitello. I guess I get that correct before he comes on.
Yeah.
He's in town Sunday night hosting part of a big event for Lawson High School for their baseball team. And it's fun. And so we'll talk to the head coach of the Tennessee baseball team, the national champion championship baseball team. Next.
Yes, we get to talk to the reigning and defending
Yes.
national champion coach Tony Vitello. Tony V going to join us next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Friday, as we are almost to baseball season. Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. The defending national champion Tennessee Volunteers will open their season against Hofstra, and we say hello to their head coach, Tony Vitello, who is on the line with us now. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, bring your date out to Valentine's Day. Just bring a coat with you.
might be a little chilly in Knoxville in February, but I know everybody's going to be excited about that and getting the season started. Has this off season just been a blur for you?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like probably you need to be punched in the gut if you're complaining about anything that went on after we won, but really, we did that parade, which was everyone was exhausted. The players were even like, hey, can we postpone this? And I was like, are you crazy? But once we all got there, the adrenaline shot was like 7 cups of coffee at once, and everyone had a blast. But following that it was go time. I mean, we never even got together as a team again after that. And it really didn't slow down until the semester ended. But you can really sense that it was refreshing for everyone, including the players, to just get a reset and get here after the holidays and get back to work. And like every other team in the country right now, it's like a cram session getting ready for the season.
You know, since you've been at Tennessee, you've never backed down from any type of challenge or pressure or anything like that. Obviously, as the defending national champions, pressure is going to come with that. But I feel like you guys thrive off of that. Is that fair?
Well, probably, I think each team is different. And I think our guys have kind of kept an edge about them that we're still – if you really are reasonable, even if you're a fan about our program, this is a very short window where we've had a good amount of success, or you got to at least say we've had success. But again, it's a very short window if you compare it to what Coach Bianco has done at Mississippi or, other set of circumstances. So we're trying to do great things for a long time. And that requires you to put pressure on yourself. And then the other thing is it's kind of coming from all angles right now. You probably can hear construction in the background, which I apologize for, but we got new seats in the stadium we got to fill. And, a lot of other things we've got to uphold that are there. And so I think there's so many of them, and the environment's kind of been consistent that it really is just kind of a part of our guys' working day set of circumstances that they have.
Talking to Tony Vitello, Tennessee baseball coach. How special is it to be a part of this athletic program right now? As you guys obviously win the national championship, the football team makes the playoff, basketball is looking really good right now, women's basketball is looking good right now, softball, the whole thing has been really clicking on all cylinders. That has to be cool to be a part of.
Yeah, it's a blast, and it helps your work. I think we get an assist from everyone on campus, whether it's administration or the other teams. It just, that word work really kind of sucks. You got to come to work. I just want to be a fan. It'd be nice to sit out on the porch. I'm looking at our porches where it's pretty rowdy out there in left field, and that's a lot of people's favorite seat. Over here, you don't get to be a fan, but I've watched softball practice, and they've done great things for so long, but going to the basketball games as well, and football and women's soccer had a great season. And there's other sports too I'm leaving out. So it's nice that everyone is cordial and also helps each other. And then the icing on the cake is everyone is having success to some extent.
We're talking to Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello on the Chase and Big Joe show. Coach, I will be with you Sunday night. I'm hosting the event at Lawson Baseball for their event.
Nice.
So I'll see you out there Sunday night, and I look forward to that too as well, Coach. It'll be a lot of fun. Now, I was going to spend this whole segment talking about Andrew Binky because his dad is my best friend. So
Nice.
I'll put those questions off to the side. But no, seriously, how much important was it when your first couple of years in Knoxville that everybody had patience with you? Because you knew what you were doing, but you also had patience. How important was that for you?
Yeah, I think it's like, you brought up the event on Sunday should be really exciting. And, obviously there's a bunch of great programs in the state, and then so many that are close to our state boundary or border because of the shape of the state. But we just want to, be involved in the community, and we feel like we're still attracting fans. So it'll be great to go over there. I just don't know how you and I are going to pay attention to that Chiefs and Bills game at the same time. But yeah. But for the record, Andrew's looking pretty good, and we need him. We lost over 400 innings on the mound last year. So all that rambling, and I forgot your exact question.
No, just the patience that everybody had with you starting out.
Yeah, you had football in my brain, like Le'Veon Bell. You got to let the hole develop a little bit.
Right.
And I think every place can be great no matter where it is. But there's a unique set of circumstances. We're not Florida. We're not Vanderbilt. We're not Arkansas. We're Tennessee. So I think all of us not being from here required a little bit of a learning curve to what is this place like? What are the ingredients we have? We don't have. We needed to form relationships. And then ultimately, the biggest thing was on the field, we needed to let these kids know kind of what we're looking for. And again, I don't know if it's better or worse than the other teams in the league, but it's us. And that first year there wasn't a big us. I think the kids were on board. They tried hard like crazy, but it was very, very new. And we were new to each other in the area. So it's been fun to kind of see, there's other national champions or teams that win, but our story is a real fun one, I feel, because there's this building up effect. And, even though we were able to do something special last year, again, construction and other stuff on campus, we still kind of feel like it's a building up effect going on here.
Yeah, the run, with the conference tournament and then the tournament itself and then getting out to Omaha and everything, how much of that do you remember, or is it like Chase asked earlier, is it just a big blur because of what all you went through and, of course, winning the championship on that, I guess, Tuesday night?
Yeah, it comes in moments. It's almost like you're looking through not pictures on your phone, but the old ones we used to develop at Walgreens or whatever. CVS. No disrespect. I don't want to lose any NIL deals out there, but wherever you get your photos made, it's kind of like every now and then looking at 5 or 6 of those in a snapshot. I was cleaning out a backpack the other day, and I found a sheet or a piece of paper that was taped to my hotel room door. And it was actually another SEC coach I'm friends with put that on there after we beat Florida State. And it just said, holy, fill in the blank, 4-letter word with a bunch of exclamations. And I saved that piece of paper because it was pretty cool. And again, a close relationship with Carrick over at Missouri. And just finding that reminded me of what it felt like getting back to the room, seeing that sign, decompressing in the room and reflecting on how wild that game was. So you get it in snapshots, and I think that'll go on for the rest of my days and the players' days, which really makes it fun.
It does. We've had coaches on before who've talked about, I can't tell you all my wins, but I can sure as hell tell you my losses. I remember the 2022 Super Regional versus Notre Dame. I know it's disappointing, but you had said after, it's like, basically, we'll be back and we'll learn from this. And I thought, every coach says that, but the way you said it, Coach, at the time was like, this hurts, but it could be powerful if used correctly, right?
No doubt. And I think people think, watching Notre Dame on football or it coming up, stings a little bit because that was the team that beat us. And they did truly beat us, and they had a great group, but it was a tough matchup. There was a lot of things that went on that week prior that kind of contributed to not having our best weekend. And then I think it's fair to say we kind of beat ourselves. So at the very least, I felt conviction in what I was saying, because we did have a lot of people, including our fans, that were new to that experience. And we're hungry for more. And what a competitor, you'd like to think, does is when they get knocked down, they try and figure out why, and they get back up, and they don't want it to happen as often or as worse. And so again, the building up effect, I think the 21 team getting to Omaha, the 22 team having all kinds of wild stuff in one year, and the 23 team kind of overcoming a rough start and getting to Omaha. I think those things all had something to do with last year.
We're talking to Tony Vitello, Tennessee baseball coach, who is here with us. And, the game has obviously changed. You mentioned NIL and there's transfer portals and all those things, but the guys that have been here, that have been patient, that have stuck with you, that now are going to get their opportunity, are they more important than they ever have been because, things aren't as linear as they used to because there's so much roster turnover these days?
Yeah, you've got to have a voice in the locker room and in the dugout. And one of our administration folks, or one of our administrative baseball personnel, they were in the dugout during a couple of our games, and mainly pregame. And they made the comment that these guys are going to be successful because the kids are coaching each other probably more than the coaches are coaching them. And we've got to earn our keep around here as coaches, but ultimately the players spend way more time around each other in the hotel, in the locker room, at meals, at their, place of residence without us around. So you got to have guys that know what the coaches are looking for, what's worked in the past, what hasn't. And they've got to give the younger guys or new players feedback. And there are new guys every year. I've said this at a couple speaking engagements. Our sport now, with the draft being the way that it is and the portal and some other circumstances, for brevity's sake, I'll just tell you, it's kind of like coaching a JUCO team. You get a rare Kirby every now and then that'll be around for 5 years. And I think COVID's in the past, thank goodness. But for the most part, there's so much turnover. You feel like you get these guys for 2 years, 3 years max, and then it's moving on to the next crop. So there's got to be some sort of handing off the baton going on, like you're talking about.
Well, and with that too, with the the roster changes and all of that, the SEC continues to just grow and be this powerhouse conference in basically all sports. So how do you continue to combat that? And also, this will be the first year with Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC.
Yeah, you're seeing it in basketball, just the strength of the conference. I know football was a little bit of a downer for some SEC programs or fans in general in the playoff, but on the whole, the league really seems to kind of be widening the gap between themselves and the competition. And for our sport in particular, we'll go into a spring where you add 2 new teams, and that really throws off kilt the schedule, the normal schedule you're used to for 10 weekends. It'll mean a new SEC tournament format in Hoover for all those teams. So it's kind of fun that it's uncharted territory, but it's also kind of like being in the middle of the ocean at night. Like, where are the sharks at? They're out here somewhere. Because you're adding Texas and Oklahoma. And on top of that, Kentucky had a record-breaking season for them last year. I mentioned Carrick at Missouri. I know is really doing some great things. Only a matter of time before that program is doing great things. So it's going to be interesting. And again, it'll be fun, but it's also going to require, you mentioned that word, patience. All of us are going to have to figure out what it is that's different, and you're also going to have to be able to take some blows.
Absolutely. Tony Vitello will be speaking at Lawson High School. You can look it up, lawsonbaseball.com, if you want tickets. Very few tickets left. Coach, I just looked up and I realized why you're so want to watch the Chiefs game. You're from Missouri. So look, I learned things during the show.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's nice having the old Google machine or whatever you got there going on search-wise. My brother-in-law and of course my sister and their kids, they're from Kansas City. They have season tickets, and I'm very close with their family. My mom's from KC, and the Cardinals, most of the kids I coach, they don't know the Cardinals were in St. Louis when I was little. They left. The Rams kind of came in as an imported team. So in the middle there, we didn't have a football team.
Right.
So I cheered for the Bears because of my dad, and then KC because of my mom. And the other thing is Frank Anderson, our pitching coach, as well as myself, we both recruited Patrick as a baseball player at our respective schools. And there were not a lot of, you had to be all in on both sports. And at Houston, they weren't in on Patrick as a football player, even though Frank really liked him. And then maybe off air, I can share with you why it didn't get hot and heavy for us where I was working. But anyway, it's kind of cool to have that little tie. And he kind of throws and acts like a baseball player. Of course, he inherited that from his dad. So there's a few little binds there. Now, I don't know T Swift at all, and I don't know Mr. Kelsey. But we'll be cheering for the Chiefs.
It's funny because Chiefs fans will our Missouri people are quick to mention that the stadium is in Missouri, not Kansas. So they always do that.
And it's a really cool setup. It's nothing but parking lot. So if you want to talk about tailgating, it's a pretty good scene for that. And it'll be interesting to see if the Royals stick in that same parking lot with their talks of moving downtown. But yeah, Kansas City is a cool city. It's not a big one, but it's an underrated spot.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you doing this today. It's good to talk to you. And look, it's just a few weeks away. Hofstra comes to Lindsey Nelson Stadium and things get going. Best of luck, and we will talk to you down the road.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Tony Vitello, Tennessee baseball coach, joining us here on the program. Hofstra is where they get it started, February 14th, Valentine's Day And I mean, they got a ton of games at home
See that schedule?
to start the season, and then Oklahoma State, Rice, Arizona. They're playing in a tournament in Houston. So they have that going on. St. Bonaventure is coming to Knoxville to play them, which is going to be cool. And then they finally get the SEC schedule going March 14th against Florida.
It's just, to add national championship coach. We had Corbin on when they won. I'm like, you're forever known as a national championship coach. And he's like, yeah, I guess I am. These guys are so far into it that they really don't realize that they're national championship coaches. And I think that's cool to have that for the rest of his life and career. He'll be known as a national championship coach.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people making the trip from Nashville up to Knoxville May 9th, 10th, and 11th, because that Vanderbilt series with Tennessee is going to be
good luck getting
spicy.
tickets.
It's going to be, because I think Vanderbilt's going to be much better this year.
Good
much
luck
improved.
getting tickets on that. I absolutely agree.
It's gonna be fun. So appreciate Coach Vitella joining us here on the program. We'll get back into the NFL and the football talk. Pete Carroll, the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll discuss that and much more. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Back here on the People's Show, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Awesome stuff with Tony Vitello.
Yeah,
was
and
fun.
the Mahomes part about that. Kyler Murray.
I know. I want to know now.
Yeah, right. I'll find out Sunday night at Lawson High School. The Kyler Murray thing. Was going to play pro baseball, then realized it's a grind.
Yeah.
Hey, bus rides and everything, or just go play in the NFL where you're going to start immediately and all that. So I think people don't realize just what it's like to get and make the major leagues. But anyway, Mahomes probably would have been successful. We were in Kansas City for the AFC Championship game, and
Yep.
Mahomes walked past us. That's a big dude.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, he's a big dude. Like when we saw Brady for the training camp here. These are big dudes at quarterback. They're not. And then you get Kyler Murray, who's what, 5'5"? It seems like, it's good. So
it was funny.
He's crazy.
So you remember, Arrowhead Stadium is an old stadium. So like downstairs, underneath where the locker rooms and everything are, it's pretty close quarters. And so I was at a point where I was waiting to go into the Titans locker room after the game, and Patrick and Kelsey had to like squeeze by all of us to go into the media room from their locker room.
Mhm.
And so they both walked by, and I was just like, holy moly.
Right.
And Patrick was like,
man.
excuse me, guys. Like it was nice. And I can't really do a Patrick
It's
voice,
more
but
Kermit
kind of
the Frog,
raspy.
right?
Hey, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
But, he kind of walked by, and it was just like, in this business now, I don't get starstruck anymore. But like the first time that you see someone like his caliber,
Yeah.
like I get more blown away by like, damn, I didn't realize he was that big, like something like that. Like I did that with, when the Predators were in the playoffs against the Dallas Stars. I was to get through. I can't remember if you were. I don't think you were there.
No.
To that arena, one side is hockey, one side is basketball, and so I'd come down the elevator, and to get to where the Predators were, I had to walk by the Stars locker room, and so I was walking to the Predators locker room, and I like see these guys outside the Stars locker room, and I'm like, is that Ezekiel Elliott? And then as I got closer, I'm like, is that Dak Prescott? And it's just, the first time,
Right.
like Zeke's a little guy, but I mean, he's buff and everything. And,
Sure.
and I'm like, hey guys,
Who's the first guy you were starstruck with?
Like just since I started doing this, or just ever
In your life?
in my life? It probably was Vince Gill at Loveless, because
What year are we looking at here?
I was probably, 8 or 9, maybe.
Mid-90s?
Yeah. When he was, at
Huge.
his height.
Yeah.
Because country music stars, people would come there all the time. And my grandmother, would introduce me or whatever.
It's Lil Chase.
Yeah. No, hang on. I changed my answer. Billy Ray Cyrus. I was like, Achy Breaky Heart had just come out. I think I was 6. That's what it was.
And there he was.
And he was there.
You're like, Mom and Diddy, can I grow a mullet? He was in 92 when he broke out. He was a big deal.
Yeah.
People forget about that. He's a really big
tell
deal.
my heart.
Yeah, keep it going, man.
My
Mine
achy,
was, and I've
breaky
talked
heart.
about it, was Ken Stabler when I was working at a bar and
Oh,
he
yeah.
came in. It's just, that's Ken Stabler. And then to meet him years later and have lunch with him, and he had food on his tie, and I didn't tell him, is another moment with him I'll never forget.
Sports wise, believe it or not, it might have been Fisher. First time, because that was at Loveless too.
Really?
That I met Coach Fisher. Because they were such a big deal. They'd just gone to the Super Bowl, and
And that mustache was
that
popping.
mustache was just looking.
He had a
pristine.
little bit of a mullet too.
He did. The
Yeah.
'90s mullet was a thing.
He's a Southern California redneck. He is. Fishes, hunts, drives a truck. There's nothing wrong with it. Rednecks are everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's what he is.
Hey, a little more redneck is what we need, Charlie
Right.
Daniels, man.
Yeah. So the mullet and the mustache.
I
Look,
pray that one day I find me a redneck girl.
right. And Derek was on the team, but You're right. I mean, that 99, 2000 year with them when they made that run in the offseason and going to 2000, I'd never seen the city like this ever. I mean, it was the first time. I was like, holy cow. The Preds in 17, the Stanley Cup run was almost as equal for the city going crazy, but those are good times. We need those. That's why we want these teams to be successful. We want these good times back.
What do we got coming up next?
So next, we've talked about MTSU's having a big football, big event in mid-February down at Uncle Nearest Bar in Shelbyville, which is a great place. One of their big NIL collective meetings. So one of the top songwriters in country music's going to join us next. Luke Laird to talk about the big event, and we're going to be happy to have Luke on the show.
We're going to do that coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game here on this Friday. Little Lady A bringing us back. Of course, Hillary, an MTSU grad,
Yes.
an alum. And we'll tell you about a big event coming up February 13th from 6 to 9 at Humble Baron at Nearest Green Distillery. Blue Bloods in the round. It's a event benefiting the MTSU Athletics NIL program. Coach Derek Mason will be there. He's put it on, but we're proud to have on Luke Laird, who is another MTSU alum, just like us. He will be there performing. Luke, how you doing?
I'm good. I am an alum, but just barely.
Well, so are we. You walk across that stage. I guess it counts, something like that.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm grateful that I had a good time down there.
Well, I know this is going to be a fun event to be a part of it. And I love songwriters and getting to, hear the genesis of all these songs that we hear on the radio. And we know, that was one downtown that we just played that you were a part of. How special is it to be able to do these kind of songwriters in the round events, especially when it's helping your school?
Oh man, it's awesome. I'll never forget. I came down to MTSU fall in '97, and I just was moved from Northwestern Pennsylvania, but it was just so cool being in Tennessee and being around other songwriters, which was something was all new to me. And so yeah, so many great opportunities that school provided for me, and yeah, anytime I can do something to help them, I'm up for it.
You've written a lot of different country music songs, some big ones, but they all kind of have different themes. I mean, is it based on when you're sitting down, to write or go to a write or something like that? I mean, is some of this based on how you're feeling, mood, or what's kind of your process?
Oh yeah, usually the ideas all come from a personal place, whether it's something I thought of or my co-writers. But yeah, I've found the best songs are just, I can't remember who first said it, but I've heard it for years. It's just like write what you know. So for the most part, even if the whole story isn't true in there, there's a lot of truth in the lines that we write. And that's what I love about country music. 3
chords and the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
We're talking to Luke Laird on the Chasing Big Joe show. Luke, I was listening to Don Felder talk about how he created Hotel California. He was just messing around and then hit it, and he knew. Does that happen to you when you're just messing around and you play a chord and you just know that's it?
I don't know if I ever know anything. It's funny. I know when it's something I love and I'm excited to play for people, but as far as if it's going to be a song that's a hit, I really never know. And sometimes I'm surprised at ones that end up being hits, and then ones that I just can't. Nobody will even take a chance on that. I thought, oh, this is for sure it. So that's what I'm reminded of every day. You never know, and it's the thing about being a songwriter. That's what's I guess scary about it, but what's so exciting too, because I never know. Today I could write the biggest song of my career, and odds are I won't, but
right.
You just keep hoping.
So when you go to a Casey Musgrave show and she sings your song and 15, 18,000 people are singing that, I got to think, Luke, that there's no drug on the planet that gives you that high.
Man, I would agree. There's nothing like it. Yeah, with Casey, and honestly, one of the first songs that really hit me like that when I went out and saw it live was Eric Church playing "Drink in My Hand." Just remembering the genesis of that song and how it just started like this tiny little 3 or 4 chord thing, and then to see that many people like know your song, and it's just the most wildest thing, and it's what I dreamed of when I moved to Tennessee. So it's pretty cool.
I love it. Also, I mean, to be asked, Luke, to be part of this Blue Bloods in the round on February 13th, benefiting the MTSU Athletics NIL program, this is a huge deal for the university, and for them to reach out to you to have you a part of this, that's got to also be a good feeling.
Yeah, I was wondering how many people they had to ask before they got down the list for my name, but no, it's really cool. I love sports. I was never obviously a Division I athlete. I think we might have got like third place in the basketball intramural league down there at MTSU, but no, it really is an honor. I've actually never met Coach Mason, so hopefully I'll get to do that.
We're talking to Luke Laird. He'll be part of Blue Bloods in the Round coming up on February 13th. So you mentioned Drink in My Hand. Eric Church is one of my favorite artists. I'm curious of how that song came to be, because obviously it's one of his biggest hits.
Sure. I went out. Eric invited me to come out on the road with him for like 4 days. He was playing shows. And this is one of those where, he may have asked some other people and they said, no, you're going to North Dakota. But I got on the bus, and I'll never forget, we were in North Dakota. It was -9 degrees. And I didn't even know that people could live through that. But he was playing his show, and I decided to go out into the crowd. And this was before he blew up and was playing huge arenas. So the venue was, I think it was like an old armory or something. There was like a few bleachers on the side, but I remember, I don't know what the drink situation is, but I guess it must have been kegs of beer or something, because everybody was holding these red Solo cups and holding them up and really into the music. And I was just thinking, man, I want to write something that these people would get excited about. So I went back on the bus before he got off stage, and I just played 3 chords in that little melody. All I want to do is put a drink in my hand. Came to me. I didn't know if it would be a whole song or a line, but Eric came off stage. I said, man, I have no idea, but your fans inspired this. And I played him that little thing. He goes, oh man, that's a song. And we sat there, he, myself, and our co-writer, Michael Heaney, and we wrote that thing probably in like an hour. And that was one of those, we finished it. I was like, man, I think it's a hit, but I don't know. It just felt so good. But yeah, you just never know where these songs are going to come from.
I think, like Chase said, the genesis of all these songs is fascinating. All right, be honest with us, Luke. Where are your Grammy Awards right now? Don't tell me they're in a drawer.
No. I've got a little office at the house that sitting by my record player. It's like a museum in there. I still got all my cassettes and records and CDs, living in the past, but it's kind of like my little music room. I have them in there.
All right, well, good, because I would have them on my desk when somebody sits down and be like, hey, let me move my Grammy Awards out of the way to talk to you, just so they know that I've got my Grammy Awards there. So I'm proud of you, Luke.
Thank you.
I'm proud that you got those in there. The event, you're going to be doing other songwriters. Is it cool to do events like this when you get other songwriters you may know, you may not know, all come together like that?
Yeah, I mean, I for sure always feel comfortable if it's some people I know, and this will have a little bit of both. I think it'll be exciting, and hopefully it'll be a good time for the people who come to watch it. I always pray I don't put everybody to sleep, but I'll try to mix it up and not play all ballads,
It's gonna be fun to see. Real quick, I know you've worked with Toby Keith in the past. What did he mean to country music?
Man, Toby he meant so much. My first experience with Toby, before I had a publishing deal and was writing songs for a living, I was on the road with Brooks and Dunn, and I was just one of their tour assistants. So, I mean, low man on the totem pole. And I'll never forget the way Toby treated me. He was always so kind, and he knew I was trying to be a songwriter, and he was just very encouraging. And then we also got to play basketball every day. They'd wheel a basketball hoop out there. Toby's a big dude. I never really wanted to guard him. And when I did guard him, it was a sorry excuse for guarding someone, but just the way that Toby, again, I saw him treat people. And then also as a songwriter, myself being a songwriter, he really got his foot in the door in Nashville with songs that he came to town with from Oklahoma that he wrote by himself. Should Have Been a Cowboy. I mean, one of my favorite country songs of all time. And, he just has inspired and influenced so many people. And I just always loved how he just always did things his own way. And he wasn't someone who was awarded a lot by like CMAs or ACM, but it never seemed to slow him down. And yeah, he meant a lot to country music.
Yeah, and I know about that. Luke, at the event, Chase and I'll be down there. If I slip a cassette into your pocket of my songs, wait till I leave until you throw it away. Just do me that favor if that's okay.
Hey, I'm one of the few people that could. I still have a cassette player, so I could actually listen to him. You give it to most people, they wouldn't know what it is.
Right. All right. This is the best interview ever, man. I really appreciate this. No, look, thank you for doing this. I know it means a lot to MTSU and their collective. Again, we're all alumni of that great school. It's done a lot for us too. So the fact you're taking time to do this huge event for MTSU, man, it means a lot to so many. So thank you.
Oh, it's an honor. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you down the road.
Okay, take care.
Luke Laird joining us here on the program. Blue Bloods in the round, February 13th at Nearest Green Distillery out in the borough. And again, benefiting MTSU Athletics NIL program. Going to be really, really cool that Luke is going to be a part of that, as well as several others. So if you've never been to a Songwriter in the Round event, you should go. It's so much fun.
Did you go see Eric Church at Nissan a few years ago?
Yep.
How
Sure
was that
did.
singing that song?
It was awesome. I mean, that's one of my favorite. I remember when that song came out, I was still in college. And the first time I heard it, I was sitting in a buddy's apartment. We just had music on. And I knew Eric Church, but I wasn't like a huge Eric Church fan yet. And that song came on, and I was like, who's got a shot? Let's do that. like that was like our anthem.
I mean, there was like 60,000 people at that show that night singing that song.
But I mean, what's so funny is you look at this list, like Sarah Evans, a little bit stronger. Okay. You know that one. Eric Church, Drink in My Hand, Give Me Back My Hometown, Talladega, know all those. Pontoon, Little Big Town.
Oh, yeah.
That's one. Kenny Chesney, American Kids. Like, I went and saw Kenny Chesney when he sang that. I mean, that's what's crazy. And so growing up, I knew a guy named Alex Harvey. I don't know if you know that name.
I do not.
He's a songwriter, passed away a few years ago, but he wrote the song Delta Dawn. He was one of the writers on that song. And Hell and High Water that T. Graham Brown, had in the 80s. So he had a few. And I was watching him one time, and the last song he would always play was Delta Dawn. And, he'd sing that. And then kind of in the middle of it, he goes, if I could give everybody a gift here today, I'd want to give you one thing. And that is that you could write a song that everybody knows the words to.
Oh, yes.
And like, that was like the coolest thing, because every time he played that song, everybody knew every word.
Now I know what the song we're going to play coming back in after the break is.
Which version?
Tanya, right?
Yeah.
Tanya Tucker?
Yeah. Play Tanya.
Are there other versions?
I could find his version.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few for sure. We will play Delta Dawn.
I love it, man. I got what do you call it? The wormhole?
Yeah.
What a worm?
Rabbit hole?
No, in your ear, and that song.
Oh, the worm. Yeah.
All day long. So
yeah.
thank you.
It'll be earworm.
Earworm. There we go.
We'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays, and we might even take Clay's phone call. Coming up next, Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game on this Friday. Little Tanya Tucker, Delta Dawn, bringing us back.
Such an iconic song, man.
It was on an episode of Friends. Monica singing in karaoke. And everybody kept wanting her to sing because she was wearing a see-through shirt. And she didn't realize it. And then Chandler was like, wait. Before we get to what day is in celebrity birthdays, real quick. Hello, Clay.
Boys, how we doing this morning? Thanks for getting me in.
We're good. How are you?
Now, should I be honest or should I
Be
tell on the
honest.
fib? Or I don't want to say that I'm supporting another show because I'm supportive of your show.
Thank you.
Pogie is doing a remote at Tusculum Striking's Fair, and he's got his new show at 11 with John Dwyer. He used to work at
All
Channel
right.
2, and
Uh-huh.
they're feeding us lunch today, and I'm going to meet John Dwyer, and we're going to have some fun.
Well, cool. Well, I'm glad you're the one that went out there to support that.
And I passed Big Joe. I passed Krispy Kreme. I thought about getting you some donuts.
Well, why didn't you not get them?
All right. Clay, thanks
Have a
for
good
the
day,
call.
buddy.
We got to run.
Call earlier.
Tell
All right, we'll
Pogie and
see ya.
John we said hi.
All right.
See ya.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. We love those guys.
That's right.
With that, let's get to what day is it in celebrity birthdays.
Well, all right. I don't know if I can top that, but we also have Beer Can Appreciation Day. So you have that.
Love that.
Global Belly Laugh Day. So
We
if you-
just had that.
Yep. Good old Clay. Macintosh Computers Day. So if you
Oh.
have a Mac, celebrate
I
that.
do.
National Just Do It Day. So go and do
Like
Go to the
Nike?
gym.
Go and do it. National Activity
Been trying.
Professionals Day. So if you are active, be active, I guess. National Compliment Day. Give somebody a compliment.
Dr. Crane, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You gentlemen do a fine job behind those microphones.
You keep calling us gentlemen. We're not gentlemen.
Fellas.
Yeah, there you go.
There
All
you
right,
go.
It's better.
fellas. National Lobster Thermidor Day.
That's it.
Thermidor? I don't know. Whatever. National Peanut Butter Day. Let's see. No, that's not a lizard. Take a Grizzled Prospector Day. What are these
A
days?
grizzled prospector?
Yeah, that's what
Come
it
on,
says.
man. Make the world go round.
I don't want to do
They
that.
find gold.
Yeah, I don't know if you find that in today's day and age. But with that, that's all we got.
Okay. Nice passion there in the days of
Looks
the
good.
good Lord. All right, here we go.
It's
Celebrity
just
birth-
lackluster, man. I'm the only one.
No,
Hey,
You got to
It's
make
what you
it
put
better.
into it, man.
You're right.
It's what
Yes.
you put into it.
I was
So
looking
read them
for-
again. I'm kidding.
No, I'm
No,
good.
don't.
All right, time for
National Peanut Butter Day was pretty awesome.
All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within two. Our first birthday, Neil Diamond. How old is
Oh.
Neil Diamond?
My grandmother's favorite. I saw him in concert one time with my grandmother. Neil Diamond, I'm going to say is 84.
83.
84 exactly. Your grandma picked that for you. You tell her thanks.
Thank you, Mama.
The talented, wonderful Aaron Neville. How old's Aaron Neville? I don't know much, but I know I love you.
61.
57.
84.
He looks good.
He looks damn good at 84. He could kick our ass. Go down here. I know y'all won't know that guy, so we'll skip by him. Matthew Lillard. He played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies. He's been in a bunch of things.
52.
60.
55. Ed Helms.
Ah,
The old
Love it.
Nard Dog.
love Ed Helms.
Big tuna.
He's 50.
54.
51. Chase up 3-0. Such a great character on The Office, man. Tatiana Ali.
Is that Muhammad Ali's
It is.
daughter? 45.
42.
46. Chasers up 4-0. This is his week, folks. He's killing it on here. Actress Carrie Coon. She was Ben Affleck's sister in Gone Girl.
Um,
She's been in a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Leftovers.
43.
40.
44. Chase is up 5-0. He's on a round. This I'm excited. It's a record pace now. Who is this here? Actress Misha Barton. Would she on one of those like Gossip Girls or one of those little?
Yeah, maybe.
Who's on the OC?
The OC.
We'll
Thank
see.
you.
Thank you, Adam. I'm gonna say 38.
40.
39. That's a push. Singer Ray Stevens. Yes, they call him the Streak. Ray Stevens.
81.
84.
86. You're on the board. 5-1. Actor Michael Ontkean. He was in Slapshot. He was the young guy next to Paul Newman.
Yeah. 72.
74.
79. Comedian Yakov Smirnoff. A lot of country.
61.
67.
74. Going down here. Let's see here. All right, get some sports people here. Rob Dibble. How old is Rob Dibble today?
Nasty Boys. Rob Dibble. 63.
62.
61. 5-2. Job, Dr.
Damn you,
Crane.
and your price is right.
Mary Lou Retton.
74.
70.
57. Good
Oh,
Lord.
sorry.
Former Michigan running back Tim Biaka Batuka.
58.
60.
51. Rocky Boyman, former Tennessee Titans linebacker.
Friend of the show. 46.
47.
45. Chase up 6-2. Last birthday, Sean McVay for the LA Rams.
38.
39.
39 exactly, but too little, too late. Chase wins 6-4.
All right. There
Well
you
done,
go,
buddy.
That is going to do it for us. DVD is coming up next.
As always, look to our guys out there. What's our message after every show? Know that we love you. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to us. Reach out to a friend or 988 on your cell phone. You can call or text that number. Please talk to somebody before you do anything. They say all the time, man, when you're feeling down, only one thing to do, and that's look up. I'm telling you, when you feel down, look up. Know that we love you, and more importantly, that God loves you. Your journey is beautiful, beautiful, and that's your journey. And we're here with you, man. We need you around because we love you.
Peace, love, rock and roll.